All right. And here's the agenda, at least what I want to cover with you all today. So I call this freedom, systems, and cash flow. That's what I call this presentation because I've been in business 20 years. I've made a whole lot of mistakes, even as a business consultant. Yes, business consultants, we make a lot of mistakes. Not for our clients, though, but we make a lot of mistakes just because we're business owners. And over 20 years, I think I've seen, maybe not everything, but I've seen a lot. But what I've learned over that time is that I started off wrong. I started off really trying to create a job for myself. But it was over time I really learned that I really need to create systems. Because if I can create a system that runs on its own, it gives me free time. And that free time, I can be a better dad, or I can work out more, or I can travel more. It also gives me time, of course, to think about ways to make more money. So I can hire more people. I mean, we've grown a lot over these last 20 years. And I'm thankful for that opportunity. I guess hindsight, I wish I had known all this stuff I'm going to share with you sooner, like on day one. I would have avoided a lot of trial and error, maybe made a little more money, but I didn't know. And so my hope is that today, in this time we have together, I'm going to tell you what you need to know based on my 20 years of experience, but also we've worked with thousands of companies over 20 years, from startups to billion-dollar large corporations. So all these things really ring true, no matter really how big or how small the client is. Cash flow rules everything around me. It really, the timing of money in and out of the business, I can't think of anything more important. Also, if you're thinking about growing your company, you're probably going to need some money. In fact, I will promise you're going to need some money. And so if you have any hesitation about taking on debt, thing is, if you use debt properly, like wealthy people do, you can live a very comfortable life and grow your company without as much stress and anxiety that comes with not having enough money to do things you want, getting jammed up during slow periods. I mean, that's just normal for big and small companies. So, but by understanding your cash flow, it allows you to talk to lenders. And I'll tell you, cash flow is a lender's love language. If you understand how to, by the time I finish today, I want you to understand how to explain what you're going to do using numbers. And if you have some decent credit, you should be able to get as much money as you need to build the things that you want. Also, to talk to investors, to talk to potential partners. Cash flow is really the foundation of those conversations. So our agenda for today, we've already had some greeting and remarks. I'm going to do a little bit more of an introduction, just in case we haven't met before. I'm Will Holmes, by the way, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you. After I do a brief introduction, I'm going to jump right into these topics: freedom, systems, 12-month cash flow projections, and then we'll have a role play. I am going to ask for a volunteer. After I finish my introduction, I'm going to ask for a volunteer. It's really, really light. I'm just going to ask you just a simple question, but it may be thought-provoking, hopefully. And so if you are interested in being my volunteer, if you could raise your hand in the chat, and Mr. Hayden will let me know who that person is in just a bit. Okay, so help me out a little bit and just let me know. So, a couple other things on this slide that are super important. So you guys get a copy of this. I made a PDF version with live links, so you can. I'm pretty certain that you'll get this after we finish up today. So you can email me. You have questions, email me. If you are so inclined, we have a free community for business owners, for Maryland business owners, at school.com/WHC. Use the link. I think Dr. Coles might even share it in the chat. It's free, like really free. And all the stuff I talk about here with you today, I talk about there. There's free resources, videos, training programs. You get discounts for the lawyers and accountants and HR consultants in our network. There's a lot of great benefits because our part of the way that we give back as a business over the last couple of decades is by providing free programming like today to business owners. Why do I do that? Because I made a whole lot of mistakes and I didn't have anyone helping me at the beginning, and I didn't have any support. And I just did what I thought was right. And some of it was right, a lot of it was wrong. So I want you to avoid that trial and error. I want you to create jobs in your community. That just helps everybody. So join school, school.com/WHC for free and get the support you need. Also today, I'm going to show you our cash flow tool. There is a standard generic cash flow tool that accountants use. They mainly do it, and even like some of my MBA students at Hopkins, they use it really to kind of show like a current status of how things are. I don't use it like that. We have a beefed up, more robust version of the cash flow tool that you use to really plan how you want to live, how you want to grow. I'm really proud of it. And so we have an entrepreneur program that we teach across 8 counties here in the state. Also, we have a version that's a national version for the SBA. And we use the cash flow tool as the foundation for it. And it lets people understand how to really grow their business based on numbers, not just gut feelings. Okay. So if you want to get a copy of that, you can download the cash flow tool at that link. So let me explain. There's a cash flow tool 1.0. That is a simplified version I'm going to show you today. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but for some people, it works better. But the one I'm going to show you today is our 2025 version that we're rolling out for our curriculum and classes going into next year. I'm going to use that today because it's awesome. I'm really excited about it, and you'll see how it's different if you were to compare the two. So then we'll actually have some role play when I go through the cash flow. With that, actually, Dr. Coles is going to help me at the very end of all this to do the cash flow role play. The reason why I'm asking her to help me is, one, we've done it many times before. Also, I just want to make sure we have enough time to cover everything. It's a very robust tool and it's easy to kind of go off on tangents. So I just want to make sure that we stay focused today. We don't have a lot of time. After that, we'll have some Q&A and then final remarks. So as you have questions, please put them in the chat. I think some of them will be answered as we go. Also, if you could, please, ask questions having to do with cash flow or business. Anything else, I probably won't be able to answer. So just keep that in mind as you pose your questions. All right, let's go to the next slide. So a little bit about me. I'm not going to read all this to you. This gets longer and longer because I'm getting older and older. But we started in 2006. And my company is called WHC. Our clients are government agencies, banks, universities, and thousands of entrepreneurs across the globe. We've done work in Kenya and Nigeria, in the Caribbean. We're opening an office in the Dominican Republic because that economy is exploding. So, and of course, we've done business here for decades at this point. Our website, WHCUSA.com, and of course, the free community, WHC community at theschool.com/WHC. I'm also entrepreneur in residence at Johns Hopkins Carey Business School. I love working with the MBAs, teaching them how to be consultants in real life. And we have a program where we work with businesses in the community as well. That's a free program that'll start back up in the spring. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out to me. I can connect you. I'm Chairman Emeritus, Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce. That was fantastic. Let me tell you, running a large nonprofit, I think, is actually harder than running a for-profit business. And so I loved it so much. I started my own nonprofit. I mean, you don't actually own nonprofits, but I founded my own nonprofit called Baltimore Economic Leadership League. And the purpose of Baltimore Economic Leadership League is through membership, dues, we throw cool parties and events, have training programs, and we get grants from large financial institutions. Definitely want to shout out Truist for giving us $50,000. We're going to actually, starting next week, we're going to do 10 microloan grants, 0% interest. So we can do that because Bell doesn't owe any money to anyone. I started it with my own money, and so it's debt free. We just use all the money, we put it in a pot, and we loan it out at 0% interest. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I'm gonna open that up to our members of our group, our WHC community. We're gonna do that next week. So then that way they can start to apply. So if you're a member, please, it's free to join. You might want to do that ASAP. Then also very thankful to the SBA recognizing our work. We're 2024 Small Business Administration Maryland Minority Business of the Year. And they said they gave it to us because of our work in the community and our economic impact on Maryland. Also thankful that my team, I want to give them a huge thanks at WHC because the systems we put in place, but it's the people who are really doing an amazing job. They free me up to do all this other stuff, to work with, business owners across the globe. And because of our work, and I'm really proud of the work we've done in the community, we won a lot of awards from the governor's office and comptroller, Maryland General Assembly, mayors across the state, Baltimore City Council, various elected officials, various organizations. I'm really thankful, proud of that work we're doing, but it's because of the systems we set up in WHC and the team that I have that I'm able to do it. Why am I reiterating that? Is because let me tell you, the quicker you can get in your mind that it's not about just creating a job for yourself or making some money, it's really about creating systems that work by themselves without you having to be involved in the day-to-day. The quicker you start doing that, like the quicker you stop touching work, the more money you make. And it may sound crazy, but it is absolutely true. And I'm going to show you what I mean as we talk about this today and how cash flow ties into it. But for me, entrepreneurship is freedom. But to do that, you've got to build some systems to make that happen. So here we're at the point where I need a volunteer. Mr. Hayden, do we have a brave volunteer?
Yes, we do. The first one that came on was Mr. Richard Osolis. So I'm gonna hold on one second. Trying to get to him real quick. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Richard, Mr. Osolis, let me know if you're able to.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Outstanding. I can hear you.
All right, perfect.
Good morning, sir. How are you feeling?
Fine. Couldn't be better. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be learning something.
All right, very good. So pronounce your last name for me just one time.
Osoliese.
Osoliese. Mr. Osoliese, I'm Will. I want to thank you for being a volunteer. I'm going to ask you one question, okay? And if you can keep your answer to under 30 seconds, that'll help me stay on schedule. What do you love to do more than anything else?
Sit on a boat.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this. And you're a business owner, right?
Yes.
All right. So how can you create the infrastructure in your business so you can sit on that boat uninterrupted?
Have everything I would need on the boat that I would need in the office.
Okay. So do you have people that work with you?
Yes.
Okay, good. So tell me about the structures you put in place so that they know what they're supposed to be doing so they don't have to call you all day.
Well, we collaborate highly. So we use a lot of teams, a lot of free infrastructure, and we're developing, we develop on the boat.
Okay. So how often are you on the boat?
3 times a week.
Oh, that's great. Are you, what city are you in?
I'm in Fort Meade right now, but the boat is in Harrington.
Okay, good. Very good. So your team, do they work remotely as well?
Yes.
Very good. So let me tell you this, how long did it take you to create this infrastructure that allows you to be free to be on your boat 3 times a week?
It took a while to know what the infrastructure is and know what the
Okay. All right. I mean, when you say a while, like a year, 2 years, 10 years?
About 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Well, good. I want to thank you. And I know this, and thank you for being so transparent, because this is exactly what we're talking about today. All right. Creating infrastructure so you can be free to do what you want. And many people aren't there yet. And so hopefully the folks on this Zoom today and the folks who watch this recording, hopefully I can give you some information to help you so you can be free as well. So let me ask you one more question, sir, before you go. With your business and having free time on the boat, do you feel like you get time to do all the things that you want to do as far as in your life?
No, because I'm just really getting started. Most of what we were doing was what I was working, who I was working with. I just mimicked that I was doing for myself. That's all.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, because we're going to talk about that as well. And okay, one more question. You sound like you're. See, I'm getting older. This gray hair is not joking. You sound like you're a young man. Have you thought about your retirement?
Not young. I just retired like last 2 weeks ago, so that's why I'm doing all this stuff now.
Ah, very good, very good. Okay, good. So a lot of this should resonate with what I'm going to say to you over the next few minutes. Sir, I appreciate you so much. Everybody, if you could give him a round of applause in the chat, thanking him for being so brave and being a brave volunteer. All right, very, very good. So I think we have a poll coming up at this point. And so I really want you guys to, I want this to be interactive. So it helps me to craft this presentation. So for you, as you think about your future and you think about your business, I want to know, do you know these numbers? Do you know how much money you need to retire comfortably? How many years until you retire? What happens if you get sick or die early? And you should see a poll on your screen. It doesn't have all these same questions on here. It's got about 5 questions on. What happens if you get sick or die early? What happens if you have more years than you have money and you live to be 95? Do you know how much profit you need to generate now to retire comfortably later? Do you know how much profit you make on every single sale? Do you know how many sales you need per month, per week, per day to hit your annual profit goal? Remember, profit's what you get to keep. And do you know how much staff and how many sales you need so you don't have to work in the day-to-day of your business? So you can be on the boat too. All right. So I think, I know some people actually can't see what we are showing on the screen. So to make sure that I make sure that I describe everything to you. So it looks like we had here, we have everyone answer the first question, how much money you need to retire comfortably. Looks like about 23% said yes, 64% said no, 14% said not sure how to start. You'll know by the end of today. Number 2, do you know how many years of work you have before you retire? 29% said yes, 62% said no, 10% said not sure how to start. Number 3, do you know how much profit you make on each sale? 32% said yes, 53% said no. Hey, look, don't feel bad. Most people I talk to don't know. And number 4, do you know how many monthly, weekly, daily sales you need to achieve your annual profit goal? 20% said yes, 75% said no, 5% said not sure where to start. Oh, one more question. Do you know how much staff and how many sales you need so you don't have to work in the day-to-day of your business? 15% said yes, 80% said no, 5% said not sure where to start. This is why we're here today. Hopefully, 100% will have at least an idea of how to get started if you don't know already. Because you need a target. If not, what are you aiming at? I want you to really think about what is your financial plan, because without one, you're going to slow the growth of your business. And you might say, well, why? Like, why would it go faster? Let me tell you something. There's a term we use called discretionary effort. And I explained this to my son the other day. And so this is what I said to him. I said, son, my son's 15. He's a junior in high school. And so I said, son, do you know what discretionary effort is? And I don't know if I made up the term or not, but it's a term that I've been using for like 15 years. So it may be somewhere else. But he said, no, Dad, what is that? And so I said, it is when, if I were to say to you, son, because he has a business where he helps me with he does like software design. He actually did this software for our cash flow. So he's smart. He knows what he's doing. And so he does a little work with his own business. I said, son, if you had to make $200 today, what would you do? I would say, what actions would you take? He said, oh, well, that's like one sale. I would just do this and do that, maybe make a couple calls. That's easy. I said, okay. So you'd maybe make, but how many calls? 2 or 3 calls. He said 2 or 3 calls. I said, okay, all right. I said, son, let me ask you this. What if you had to make $10,000 today? His eyes got all big. I say $10,000 today, not just to have money, but let's say let's say for whatever reason you could imagine, you didn't make $10,000 today, they would come and they would come and take my car. They would put me in jail, put your mom in jail, put your friends in jail, and you would go to jail too. They're like, Dad, why would they do that? I said, son, don't focus on that part. Just focus on what I'm saying. What would you do? What would your behavior be to make $10,000? She's like, oh, well, that's different. I would be calling people. I'd be people who said they were going to do something last month, but I would call them and get some referrals going, and people who owed me money and all these. I was like, oh, so you know what you would do to make $10,000 in a day. Why aren't you doing it? That's discretionary effort. See, because if you know how much money you have to make, it's going to change your behavior. Revenue goals drive behavior. You need a plan. Okay? Because if not, you're jeopardizing the outcome of your business. You're jeopardizing its stability. You're threatening your relationships and your health because of the stress that comes with not having a plan, the stress that comes with having months where you don't make any money or sales fall through, and you didn't plan on having a plan B or 2 or 3 things to sell in that month in case something doesn't happen. Also, and we're going to talk about this today, do you even use any projections to plan your retirement? You maybe not, probably not. Hopefully today I'm going to show you the value of it, because if you do the math and you see that, hey, look, I need $10 million to retire. Okay. Maybe you need to sell your business for your revenue for your business. Because usually if you have a sustainable business, a good business, you may be able to get 2 or 3 times your annual revenue. So if you need 10 million to retire comfortably, that means your business needs to be making at least 3 to 5 million a year, steadily, consistently. So if you know it has to be at that level, you can work backwards to get there. Okay, how much do I need to make per month, per year, per day to make that happen? Or if you're saving, it lets you make that plan. That's what projections allow you to do. The projections allow you to look in the future and plan ahead and then work backwards to get there. That's why it's different than a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet. That looks in the past. This is a tool for planning. Because costs rise every single year. You've probably heard of the term inflation. Price of everything goes up every year. Well, at least most years. And so look at this, right? This is 1990 to 2024. This is how much the percentage of things going up, right? In cost. So like, for example, if last year I bought some Adidas or some tennis shoes for $100, and this year I go back to get some more just like them, and now they're 106, that means that's inflation, 6%. So you can count on at least every year, 2 to 3% on average, inflation causes prices of everything to go up. So you need to make sure you're planning appropriately. So you should know 2025, okay, we're raising prices. Also, guess what? You should be raising and look, this may be unpopular, but you should be thinking about raising the pay you give to your staff. I mean, think about it. Their rent went up 6%, their food went up 6%, but you didn't give them an opportunity to make more money. What's their significant other saying? They're like, look, I know you like it there, but they're not paying you enough for you to stay. So you have to plan not only to raise prices, you have to plan enough to grow your business so that you can keep your staff. That's part of being the boss. The main thing that I do is I make sure we have enough money to pay for everything. I'm like dad. I'm the dad that goes out and I get the money. And my kids, in my mind, this is how I think of it. My kids are my staff, my team, my employees. I make sure that they eat. They do the work they're supposed to do. If I'm doing their work, it's a problem. That means I'm not out there getting money. So it's my responsibility, and it's your responsibility as a business owner to plan ahead and raise prices, plan ahead to raise employee compensation as much as, as reasonable. Because if they leave because you didn't plan properly, that's your fault. Well, Will, I can't just be raising prices. My customers won't buy. Then I need you to increase your value you offer. I never ask anybody to reduce prices. I always tell my clients to increase their value. You do that. If you make something more valuable so your customers want it, they'll gladly pay more. Work on the value. Because listen, not only are the normal costs of everything going up, but just like I said, the cost of having employees are going up. If you have any employee benefits, those usually go up, usually in line with inflation. Also with that, and look, it's a partnership. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to make sure you have enough money to pay your team. In turn, they need to make sure they're hitting their numbers, because your projections are based on them hitting their numbers, them doing a certain amount of sales and doing the same number of phone calls or making as many cupcakes as you figure out in your projections. That's what your money is based on. So if they don't do that, and even with training and standard operating procedures and retraining, you keep talking to them, if they aren't meeting their numbers, they've got to go. You got to release them into the universe for them to find their destiny, because they're hurting you. They're hurting the team. You got to think about this stuff as you plan your projections. So cupcakes, I love lemon cupcakes and lemon ice. I use this as an example, and every time we do a training program, because when people think about, I'm going to sell something, usually they just think about like the immediate cost of the batter, right? Because they know they went to the store and they got the eggs and the batter and the icing. And let's say they spent $6 so they can make a dozen cupcakes, right? So $6 divided by 12, what's that, 50 cents? So are you going to sell the cupcakes for 50 cents? Well, no, most people wouldn't do that. They know they got to make some money, right? Oh, well, you know what? I'll sell it for $1. Yep, $1 a cupcake. All right, that sounds good. And it was like, yeah, and I made $6 because I spent $6 on ingredients, but I charged the customers, $1 per cupcakes, and that made $12 in revenue, and my expenses were $6 because that's what it cost me to get the batter and stuff. So I got $6 left over. Really? Well, what about the oven, the heat, the marketing, your business insurance? What about the website costs? What about overhead, other overhead? What about the loan you took out to start this business, the debt service you got to pay every month? What about reinvesting in your business? What about hiring people? Well, Will, it's just me. I'm not even gonna take any money. I'm gonna keep it in the business. Okay, that sounds great. But the thing is, then you will always be making cupcakes because there's no money being paid to labor. Well, what do you mean? Well, what I mean is that imagine if you were going to try and sell this business. You can't sell a business where the labor doesn't get paid, or the owner doesn't get paid. Basically, I mean, think about it, right? Why would someone buy a business where the owner doesn't get paid? And nobody's going to come and work for free. So that business isn't a viable, real business. It doesn't run on its own. It doesn't have the systems in place. It doesn't have the right pricing to pay for the systems. So when you think about the cost of your cupcake, it should have the materials and production, have marketing costs, distribution. It should have current labor, plan new labor you're going to hire. Let's say you pay them, let's say $12 an hour. I know that's low, but for the math, it's, keep it simple. So that would be at least $1 per cupcake. Let's say it's $12 per, let's say they made the cupcakes in an hour. At 12 divided by all the cupcakes, at least $1 per cupcake you should add on to the $1 you just decided to pull out of the air as far as the price. Plus overhead. Plus on top of that, there should be some profit. And included in that pricing should be your owner's pay. It's more than just the batter that goes into the cupcake. So I'm talking about cupcakes here, but if it was people or services, the ingredients would be basically whatever it is that goes into preparing that service or that product for your customer. Think about it. So what I want to do today is I'm trying to give you some thoughts, some stuff I'm going to put in your head. So because when we go to get to cash flow, I want you thinking about these things as we do the role play. So Make money first, then admin. One of the mistakes that people often make is they just get so tied up in the day-to-day of the business that they don't focus on making money. They don't focus on creating opportunities. You have to focus on creating opportunities. So you have to make time in your day or make time in your week for innovation and business development. Only way to do that is to create a system where you have time, where you have people working or technology working, selling something or offering something and handling orders and getting it to customers. You got to focus on the money. A friend of mine years ago, he said, Will, the first thing you should do every single day is work on the thing that can get you the most amount of money the fastest. Then the second amount, the second fastest, the third amount, the third fastest. After you make your money, then do admin. But even better than that, you made some money. Why don't you pay someone to do your admin for you? So you can say, focus on making money. That was some of the best advice I ever got. Like we tripped because my behavior changed after that, and we tripled revenue. I know it's scary, and believe me, payroll is a big deal. I can't miss. I think my people like me on my team, but I'm sure they don't want to work for free. So I have to focus on making systems. My day is focused on getting new business, making sure that we have lines of credit in place, loans, keep my credit right. So if I need a loan to cover payroll while waiting to get paid by the government, that's my problem. That's not my team's problem. But I build a system that allows them to stay focused on their work. And what I have to do is stay focused on bringing in money. I recommend to you, think bigger than just creating a job for yourself. Create jobs for others, and that in turn creates freedom for you. With your business, some of these are apps, some of these are people. Also, over time, you'll add staff. So maybe at first it's just you. That's fine. But make sure you're accounting for these in your cash flow projections and your budgeting, and even in your thinking as how you grow your business, because you need someone to lead and eventually a second in command so you can be free to do what you need to do. You need marketing, you need sales, finance and accounting, technology and data, operations and fulfillment, human resources, legal, admin, security. All those need to be accounted for in your budget. This is the system that you have to create so your business will run right. And you could be free to focus on getting more money. How do you make sure your system runs right? With SOPs, standard operating procedures, step by step, very simple directions on how to do every little thing in your business. Quickest way to do it is if you have a child that's competent, that's old enough and will listen and they'll do what you tell them to do, get them to follow you around. If you don't have any kids, get a young person or pay somebody 15, 20 bucks an hour to follow you around for 2 days. It's like 160 bucks. And then or maybe 300 bucks. Let's say you spend 300 bucks. And with that money, you'll have a book of how to do everything in your business. Why is that important? Because then once you write these SOPs, these directions, kind of like a recipe on how to make a cupcake. If I made a recipe for how to make a cupcake, I taught my son how to make cupcakes, I never have to, spend time making cupcakes again. He can do that now, and I can just eat the cupcakes. That's what SOPs allow you to do. I can eat the cupcakes and stay focused on getting more money so we can make more cupcakes. Systems. Because you need to focus on boss type tasks only. You want to make $250,000 a year, like take home? That means you should be doing things that are worth like $120 an hour. You want to make $150? That's $72 an hour. You should not be working on $15 an hour things. How do you do that? You invest a little money, you write an SOP, you hire somebody to do the work. This frees you up to stay focused on growing the company.
Will, you froze up a little bit.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, sorry about that.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
All right, no worries, no worries. So I say that you learn a lot about a person by how they spend their time and their money. So for me, I talked about money. Let's talk about time. Cumulatively, you get a return on the investment you put in parts of your life. So what's important to you? What do you really want a big return on later? You want your family to talk to you in 20 years? You want your kids to listen to you while they're young? Got to spend time with them. You want to hang out with your friends and travel and do those things? That means you got to put time into that. You want to work out so you can stay healthy? You got to put time into it. Because if you, and listen, you're like, well, why does this have to do with cash flow? Because cash flow lets you plan the budget so you can live the life you want. Because if you don't create a work-life balance, and I know that, look, I work all day, but I have a great relationship with my son. That's important to me because I spend time with him. He's never seen me work for anybody. He's just been sitting next to me for 15 years, hearing me do this. But if you don't make time in your day and budget time to do these things and create systems so you can do these things, you're looking at depression possibly and burnout, fatigue and conflict and anxiety and poor relationships and stress and poor stakeholder management, lack of self-confidence because you're not planning properly. You're not budgeting your time and your money properly. All my clients, I make them do time blocking because you need your schedule as the boss is so important. You have to make time for things. So, and you have to stick to your schedule. You have to be disciplined because there's going to be a certain, because see, look, remember, right? You can't do any of this until you start to get out of the day-to-day of your business. You got to create the system so your people are working. You got to have a budget so you know how much you're going to have to pay them. And you got to make sure we have enough sales so we have enough cash flow coming in so you can pay the people to do the work, what makes the system work so you can be free to focus on getting more money so you can put that back into the system so it can make more money. I mean, that's how it works. But you have to manage your day. You can't let it manage you. So you have to decide, okay, I'm going to spend this much time working out, this much time with my kids, and this much time on the business, this much time going to get some money, this much time on business development. Because one of the greatest mistakes I see people make so often is you're so tied up doing the work, you don't focus on marketing, you don't focus on business development. All of these little blocks will give you a return on your investment in time. So however much time you put into growing your company, however much time you making it work or working with your team, there'll be a return. So you've got to manage this because you don't get any more time. You got to manage this appropriately. So I use my scheduling tools like Acuity and Calendly. They allow everything to run very smoothly, not perfectly, in the business. So I can stay focused on doing what I'm supposed to do as the boss. And my team can stay focused on the day-to-day operations. But see, you have a choice. You can be a business person who creates profitable systems. So when I say a profitable system, that is you're the one who determines customer need. You probably choose the product and service you're going to offer. You're going to find the team, make the tech work, build the processes and SOPs, figure out the marketing and sales, and then fill the order and get paid. I mean, your team does that. But then those initial parts, you're the one who probably is making that happen at the beginning, and then you put people in place and then they do it. And if you do this right, you can say, if you build a system, it generates profits, money left over after paying for the system, and you get to keep that part. So you can be a business person who creates profitable systems, or you can be the system that creates profits. You're the one building the house. You're the one cleaning the toilets. You're the one making cupcakes. It's your choice. But the thing is, however you decide to do it, all of these things cost money. And so we need to use projections to plan the growth of your business. Whether you want to be a one-person shop or you want to have multiple businesses and you get benefit from all of them, the projections allow you to one, figure out the timing of when things are going to happen, when you're going to hire people, but also really important, it lets you know exactly how much money you need to make it happen. And whether you have to save that money up or go to a bank and get a loan, this is how you once you figure out what you want to be, then this figures out how you can make it happen. Because when you talk to a lender, they're going to use the 5 C's: conditions, capacity, capital, collateral, character, to figure out if they're going to give you a loan. But also what they're going to look at, they're going to look at certain documentation. So they're going to look, so they're going to want your taxes and your loan application. They're going to want to see your bank statements to see if you have financial discipline where you're moving money out of your business into your personal account. Does the money that comes in your business even remotely match your projections? They're going to want to see your cash flow projections as part of your business plan. Because see, to them, that's their love language. That's how they figure out, that's how you talk to them. That's how they understand what you're going to do. And then also the cash flow projections allows you to really see and show the lender, this is where we're going to use the money for. Details on that. When you write your business plan, I do not recommend just start writing a narrative. I've written hundreds of business plans. I used to do that when I first started. Once I understood the value of cash flow, do your cash flow projections first, because if you do them first, it allows you to create a profitable business on paper. Then the narrative just explains what you're going to do. It's much faster that way, and it makes more sense. And when you do your business plan and you create these cash flow projections, think about who the audience is. Because see, the investor, they want to see, okay, look, these projections show that they're going to make enough money. So if we put in 100,000, they're going to have at least 500,000 to pay us back. For a lender, they're going to look at your projections to say, okay, do they have enough money left over? Are they profitable enough after expenses to pay us too? And a partner, they just probably usually want to see, can I get a good return on my investment of time? You see, the different versions, you can have different versions of your projections based on your audience. The lender doesn't want to see crazy, everything goes perfectly projections. The lender wants to see projections based on a reasonable market share, conservative market share of under 5%. Where an investor might want to see what's possible. They want to see what's possible in your plan. The cash flow projections tool is your key to running your business and your key to getting capital. There is nothing else besides credit more important. So why are they so important? They're the foundation of your conversation with lenders. They show your aspirations, your timing, and plan milestones. It shows your ability to repay loans and generate return on investment. It details the ask and the expenses involved in running your business. It shows the timing of money in and out of your business. It is the budget for your growth plan. So I've been talking about cash flow projections. This is what they look like. All right. Now we have a more robust tool that we made because this one I think looks a little intimidating and it's hard to use. It's really an accounting tool, right? People don't usually even see this unless they're going to go for a loan or they took account, right? So let me explain what it is. A cash flow projections, what it's saying is, this is what I'm going to do in the next 12 months. And these are the ways I'm going to bring in money. And these are all the expenses each month. And when you do the math, this is what's left over each month. And at the end of the year, this is what's left over at the end of the year. And so what a lot of people use it for is just kind of static. Okay, well, here's where we are. This is what happened this year. The way I use it with my clients is to show what can happen, what's possible when we prepare them to get capital. So there's 12 columns, one for each month of the year. You can start it in January, you could start it in August, doesn't matter. Month one, doesn't matter. Whatever it is you start, doesn't matter. It's the next 12 months. Sometimes you can use it if you want to. You can even, like, let's say if you want to do for 2024, the way I run my business and with my clients, I say, look, do the projection for 2024 and then, have one version, copy it, make a second version, and then put in your actuals as you go. Because it'll automatically just adjust the numbers so you can see what your profitability looks like at the end of the year. I'll show you that in a second. So this green section, this is money in. This is money in. This is where the money comes into your business. And so you want to show like revenue source one might be your business to government work. Revenue source two is maybe your B2B work. Revenue source three is your business to consumer work, and how much is coming in each month. It's important to show real life, because like I do government work. If I start a project, they don't pay me in month 1 or 2. Hopefully I get paid in month 3. So it's going to be $20,000. But guess what? My expenses were still coming in. I'm still paying my team in month 1 and month 2. So that should tell me, oh, wait a second. I need to sell something else or get some other money in or go get a loan to cover those first 2 months. That's why cash flow is important. Because I could say I made $120,000 a year, but it may have all come in the last 6 months. How am I going to make pay my rent for the first 6 months? Cash flow is timing of money in and out. That's why it's so important. So I'm just going to use an example. Let's say you want to make $1 million in the next 12 months. That's $83,334 a month. That's $4,167 per day if you're open 20 days per month. That's $2,778 per day if you're open 30 days a month. Why is this important? Because when you know the number you want to hit, you can work backwards to create sales goals to make it happen. And then to take it further, to try and figure out the infrastructure you need to make this $83,000 a month. What's the average price for your services or the average price of your products? See, let's say if I'm trying to staff a project with consultants, if I need to, let's say I charge the government $100 an hour. That's 834 hours per month I need to bill the government. I can't do that by myself. I need like 6 people working full time that I'm billing at $100 an hour, but I may pay them $60 an hour. I keep $40 an hour. You see, but by knowing what my average price of my services is, I can then do the math and say, okay, for me to do $83,000 a month, I've got to bill 834 hours for my consultants per month. It lets me know, oh, wait a second, I can't do that by myself. I need more people. So what is your average price? And if so, based on your revenue goal, how many things do you need to sell to make it happen? This helps you at least to consider infrastructure. So if I need 6 people, how much office space is that? How many laptops, is that? How much money do I have to pay them? My business insurance, transportation. It makes you start thinking. Expenses. So in the cash flow projections, gas, all these things are important because if you don't take the time and list them all and know what you really spend in real life, and think about the seasonality, maybe the cost of your gasoline goes up more in the summer because you do more deliveries in the summer. Or maybe it goes down because you do less deliveries. The seasonality based on the month, that's why the month is important. The timing of money in and out. This allows you to just laser focus on what your business is really doing. At the same time, this opens up everything. This lets you really know in real life how your business is doing. So if you have some fear or anxiety, I work with people every single day on this. You're gonna have to get over it because it's much better for you to deal with that now than deal with bankruptcy later. Your business should be profitable. If you don't know your expenses, you have no idea how profitable it is. I need you to dig into your numbers. Because if you don't know your expenses, you don't know how profitable your business is. You don't know if you're spending this money wisely or not. You don't know how much time you have before you run out of money. Cost to make one. Do you know how much it costs to make one of your things that you sell? You have people working for you and they do a service, for them to create provide 1 hour of service, you know how much it costs? An easy way to look at it, you probably know hopefully you know what your total monthly expenses are. Divide that by your total number of monthly sales. I'm sorry, by your average number of monthly sales. That'll give you the average cost to provide one product or one service to a customer. As you sell more things, if you keep your expenses the same, and you sell more things, that number will get lower and lower and lower, which means you get more and more efficient. But you need to figure out this number quickly. Because what happens is, because you don't know your expenses, you're selling something for $2 per cupcake, but your real costs are $3 a cupcake. Well, I've got money left over, really, but where is it? What money is that? That's the money you're supposed to be spending to buy tomorrow's cupcakes. That's not profit. Break-even point. I bet you, well, I hope you know this, how many things you have to sell in order to keep the lights on. You should know this, because that's at least lets you know what the break-even, what the bare minimum you have to sell. Anything above that, hopefully, is profit if you know your numbers. If you don't know any of these things, you're kind of running your business by faith, which is fine. But that's not, I mean, a lender's not going to want to talk to you, an investor's not going to want to talk to you, and eventually you'll run out of money, and eventually you'll go out of business. That's just how it works. Because businesses go out of business when they run out of money. Not because they don't have a good product or service, it's because they run out of money. So you as a business owner, you have to make sure that you don't run out of money. That's your main job. Because the people working for you, that's not what they want. That's not what they're focused on. They're focused on, look, I want to come and get paid twice a month or once a month. So they're trading their time for money. See, as a business owner, you trade your money for time. I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me say that again. I apologize. Employees trade their time for money. As a business owner, you hire people and you trade your money for their time. Because if you pay them for their time and they're doing work that you would normally do, this frees you up to think and innovate and work in your talent area. Find new ways to grow the business. Be on your boat 2 or 3 days a week. But also you have to spend time, focus on making more money so you can hire more people so you can make more money. That never ends. And the way you figure out how to do this is with your cash flow projections. Some of you may be hesitant. Maybe you're afraid of, maybe you were taught money is bad, or money's, not good, whatever it is, right? But think about it. As business owners, I mean, if this is not magic, I don't know what is. We have an idea in our head. We make it manifest into something real, and then all these people get paid. Workers get paid, suppliers get paid, government gets paid in taxes. All those people who we pay, they spend their money to buy other products and services. It fuels the economy. We're responsible for all that as business owners. So why should we take all the risk? Why shouldn't we get paid? I encourage you to embrace the abundance. If you have a hang up about making a lot of money, I encourage you to get past that and embrace the abundance that comes with manifesting your idea. Because it's your choice. How do you want to make money? In this example, scenario 1, you're working by yourself. Your business is doing $100,000. Let's say you're still making cupcakes, but it's just you. You got $30,000 in expenses. You do $100,000 in sales and cupcakes, but you do everything. You're working 15 hours a day. You don't see your family. You're not working out, but you have $70,000 in profit. After year 1, you're like, okay, that was crazy. I got to do something different. And so in year 2, you say, look, I'm going to take that money, invest back in the business. I'm going to hire some people, and over the course, and then I'm going to outsource some of these services. So now your business becomes more efficient. You do $270,000 in revenue. You pay out $100,000 in payroll, $100,000 in like lawyer fees and technology and everything else I showed you as far as other duties in your business, things that have to get done. But you got $70,000 left over in profit at the end of year 2. Well, Will, that's the same. I made $70,000 in profit in year 1, $70,000 in profit in year 2. I don't see the difference. The difference is you didn't do any work in year 2. and you had time to focus on creating more opportunities for your team, or for this business, and other opportunities if you want to do other investments, do other things, make even more money. Choice is yours. Numbers don't lie. Cash flow projections helps you to figure it out. It's like a sketchbook. Helps you to figure, okay, what if I did this? What if I sold this? What if I waited to hire that person till then? The numbers adjust and it tells you when you should be doing things. So this is our version. Our version is colorful and it's got all these bells and whistles. It helps you to focus on the most important thing, profitability. Now we have two versions. The one I'm going to show you today, so this is version 1.0. This is what we use in our classes. It works great. It's a little more simplified than the one I'm going to show you today. That's 2.0. If you want a version, you definitely welcome you to come to our website and download one, or contact us, and we can show you where to go if you can't see the slides, see the links and things like that. Feel free to contact us, and we'll give you a link to to go to download it. But use the cash flow tool to tell your story. Remember, for a lender, when you walk them through, and he says, well, what's going to happen in January? Okay, well, we're going to see, this is the revenue we're going to bring in. These are the expenses. This is how much money we'll have left over at the end of the month. Okay. It's how much we'll have left over at the end of the year. Okay, you're profitable. Great. We can give you a loan. It should show your seasonality, your slow seasons, your busy seasons. It should show, like, when you're brainstorming, you're thinking about how you're going to make more money. We're going to do some role play. And so we're going to cover in this role play between now and the time we finish is I'm going to talk about the cash flow tool. We're going to go over expenses and milestones. What are those? Revenue to support growth. How do you figure that out? Profitability, creating an action plan. And like I said, cash flows, lenders love language. If you Coles, are you still available?
You froze a little bit, so apologize for that, but you should be back. You're back now.
Okay, I apologize. Not, usually we have good internet here in Baltimore. Dr. Coles, thanks for being here to help me with role play. I'm gonna pull up the cash flow tool. Oh, and Dr. Coles is my director of operations. She makes sure everything runs right in the company. So I appreciate her so much. So, Dr. Coles, what we're going to do with this role play is we're going to, and just make sure, can you see my screen, the cash flow tool?
I can see your screen.
Very good, very good. So here's the thing, for everybody who's watching, this may look like intimidating, but let me tell you, here's all you got to remember. I just need you to put in your expenses in the red part, your revenue in the green part. There's a white line, a white row that I need you to put your staffing in, and there's a gold line where I need you to put your how many sales you'll make in a month. If you do those four things, you'll be able to figure out your projections for the next 12 months. Real quick about the tool, if you download this, there's an overview that basically explains everything that I've been talking about. There are very detailed instructions that say exactly what each thing does. And then you've got this main tool here that you're actually going to use, which then populates your action plan. Because once you figure out your numbers, you need an action plan so you know what to do after. Okay. And this is, let me tell you, you take this to a lender, they're going to be super impressed, but also it makes your conversation go very much easier. Okay. I'll show you that, what it looks like after Dr. Coles and I finish. So, Dr. Coles, we're going to pretend that you have a business, and that I want to actually make sure we show like at least three revenue sources, like a B2B, a B2C, B2G. Okay. And then that way we can, just kind of show some different examples, the different types of business owners, can understand what we're talking about. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, very good, very good. So so just a real quick tour. So up here in the big orange box at the top, it says projected profit at year end based on sales. So this is the raw number of how much money is left over minus any loans you may have received. Because if you get a loan from a bank, that's not considered revenue. That shouldn't be considered part of your profits. Okay? This next orange line, and this is important, it's an important distinction. This next big orange box is going to show, as we put in numbers, projected cash balance at year end. So this is like how much is left over, almost basically like profits. But if you had like $50,000 you needed, it might be $50,000 higher than the other number, because that'll really be what's in your actual bank account. Okay, and it's important to know the difference and plan the difference, because money you get from a lender is not revenue, and that doesn't account for profit. Okay, so also here what you'll see is this lines rows 10 and 11. This is the bank balance, this gray section here. What will happen is if this number goes negative, that means that we didn't sell enough stuff in the prior month, our expenses were too high, and it makes this number go negative. That's a red flag. That means, oh, wait a second, I need to sell some more stuff or maybe push off an expense. This over here, this is a dashboard. So as we put in numbers, this will automatically change and give us the health status of our company. Okay? So those are the basics up here, but I like to always start off with these things. Dr. Coles, when would you like this projection to start? What month?
I would like this projection to start in October.
Okay. October 2024. You see what happens? It updates all the months here. So that way it's October going forward, all the way through September of 2025. Dr. Coles, what's the name of your company?
The name of my company is Events for You.
Okay. And let's see. Now we're going to scroll down here. So this green section, this is revenue. This gold line right here would be number of sales. So not how much money we made in sales, that goes here in the green. The yellow is the volume, like how many sales we had, how many customers we had, how many transactions we had. All right, but we're going to come back to that. I like to start at expenses because that's the hard part. With green, you're brainstorming. With red, you have to do some research and look in your bank account and see what you actually spend on things. What's here can be erased. This is all customizable, but I've listed things like your estimated federal, state quarterly taxes, your sales tax, merchant and credit card fees, franchise fees, savings and investment. Look, we're all getting older. Your retirement, long-term. If you're working for yourself and if you haven't retired yet, no one else is thinking about you. You're retired. Okay, you've got to make an effort. So that means in your pricing. So see, look, here's the thing, right? This is for you to plan. This is not for you to give to your accountant. Your accountant, they don't think about it like the way we think about it. Okay, so these numbers, I want you to put the money you want to put aside every month for your retirement and your savings, because guess who's going to pay for it? Because see, that should go into your pricing, which means your customer will pay for your retirement and your savings. And when you figure out how much you're going to pay yourself, that should be your personal expenses, like your child's tuition and your mortgage and things like that. If you don't account for that here, you don't really know how much money you need to make per month to cover these expenses, and which means that you are not charging your customers the right amount. You're not creating the right sales goals. This is super important. And the thing is, you can play with these numbers to find the right timing for everything. So we've done our curriculum. We've got 50 cohorts, had over 60 grads. So this has like all the businesses that have been through. These are the normal expenses. Some of them may not apply to you, okay, but many of them probably will. For the sake of time today, we're going to keep it super simple, okay? We're just going to do a few of the expenses, but don't cheat yourself when you do it. List everything, be super detailed, and customize it to your business, okay? So Dr. Coles, to keep it simple, for your business Events for You, approximately how much do you think you'll pay in quarterly taxes?
Approximately $5,000.
Every quarter?
every quarter.
Okay, all right. So let's say we start, let's see. So that would be March, June. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, September. Oops. And then December. All right. So that's already $20,000. So look what happened, right? The big orange boxes at the top, the profits. Look at that. It's already a negative number. When it's in parentheses, that's negative. So now negative 20,000. So the reason I make my clients start here at the expenses, because usually it creates anxiety. They're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that? Well, you got to sell more stuff. That's why I always start with expenses. All right. So and there are many things here in expenses, but we're going to keep it simple because of time. Okay. So let's say, Dr. Coles, let's just skip down to rent and office. About how much are you going to pay for your rent and office per month?
I am going to pay about $7,000.
Okay. Will that go up at any point in the year, or will that stay the same?
That will stay about the same.
All right, very good. All right. And so let's see, we're just doing it for the sake of time. What about utilities, Dr. Coles? Does that fluctuate throughout the year, or does that stay pretty consistent?
It is going to stay pretty consistent.
About how much per month?
About $1,500.
Okay. So that budget billing, or live in a nice temperate environment. That's good. All right. Let's do payroll for your current staff. Do you plan on hiring any additional people, or are you going to keep the current staff?
I would like to hire some additional people, specifically looking more toward maybe springtime of next year.
Okay. So for this current staff, how many people are on the current staff?
Currently, I have about 15 people.
Okay. So what's the payroll on for 15 people per month?
The payroll for 15 people a month is actually, give or take, about $30,000.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that here on the current staff line. The reason we break it up is you can really see when things happen. And it makes it easy to explain to a lender, oh, well, see, that's the current staff that I had in the beginning. We added new staff in the spring. And so what is that, like April? But how much would that, for just the additional staff per month, how much would that be to hire them?
To hire the additional staff, that's simply when we get really busy. So I would like to add another 15 at that time.
Oh, wow. Okay. And do you think that you'll keep them, or are they seasonal?
They will be with us throughout the remainder of the year.
All right, very
So
good.
seasonal to an extent.
Okay. Very good. Oh, through the end of 2024 or 2020, I'm sorry, through the end of 2025?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. So if you were to look at October through, then we would carry it over there. But this is only a 12-month projection. All right, so just to keep it simple, let's go to supplies. So whatever it is that you sell, all right, what are your supplies per month?
Roughly $20,000.
Okay. Will that go up when you hit your busy season?
It will go up. So it will go up to $30,000.
Okay. All right, very good. Now here's some things that are happening, right? So you're seeing here, we're at negative $962,000. Also here, there's a profitability trend. You can see this line over here is going down. Remember, we haven't put our revenue in yet. Okay. So I'm gonna keep it simple and just say, let's say those are all the expenses for the business. But like I said, for everyone watching, please be super diligent and put your real expenses in so you can have a real idea of how much things are in your business. So now we're going to go. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do, I almost forgot. This white line right here is projected number of staff. So I think you said it was as 15 people up until the spring, then it became 30.
Yes.
Okay. All right. These numbers will definitely help later on when we look at our action plan, which we're going to look at in a second. And of course, in our summary that's on the side. So now let's go up here to revenue. So just for the sake, just to keep it simple, let's say you have some B2G work, okay, B2B and B2C. All right. So your B2G work, and let's say that you got some B2G work, but you don't get paid in when you, let's say you start in October, so your expenses are there, but you didn't get paid. So let's say, like, how long do you think it'll take you to get paid for your B2G work, business to government work, for what you do? How many months?
It'll take me about 2 to 3 months.
Okay. So and let's say in that third month, about how much do you think you'll get for your B2G work?
In the third month, I should get about $25,000.
Okay. Will that stay consistent for the rest of the projection?
It will.
All right. All right, very good, very good. So now we just got to make up $712,000 more dollars. Also, want you also see here, remember the bank balance line is showing negative $58,000 because we had expenses in October, right? So that means we got to make sure we sell enough stuff. Even though we've got that B2G work going, we're not bringing any revenue in yet. And we've been paying our people to do the work. So we've got to make enough money in October to at least cover that $58,000. All right. So, and we've got 2 more revenue lines. So let's see what happens. So for your B2B work, business to business, about how much is that per month?
That's $15,000 per month.
Okay. Will that go up when you hire more people?
That will go up. So that will go up to about $20,000 per month.
Okay. Let's do a copy and paste, bring that all the way across. You can see all the numbers adjusting so look, this B2C has got to at least do $500,000. So hopefully this does at least more than $500,000. So at least $50,000-$60,000 a month. So let's see. So B2C, how much do you think you're going to do B2C?
So B2C is about 50,000 right now. And then during the busy season, it will go up to 75,000.
All right, very good. All right, so this is good. This is good. Now, last thing, this gold line for projected sales, like the quantity, okay? If you were to think about like this, as far as for what you sell, but how many customers does this represent per month?
Yes. So that represents right now about 250 customers per month.
Okay. And then in your busy season, what does it go up to?
During the busy season, it will represent about 400 customers per month.
All right, very good. All right, excellent. Just gonna bring these numbers across. And now we have enough to see what the projections are for this business. All right. So Dr. Coles, for your business events for you, what this is telling us, at least projected, is that your projected profit at the end of the year is $273,000. That's money left over. It looks like you didn't take any loans. Looks like we didn't have any negatives in any of the months. So that's really, really good. Okay. If we were to take a loan, let's say you needed $50,000 or so. Let's say we're going to hire all those people. Say, hey, you know what? I want to have $50,000 just to make sure I have enough. What that will do, that would change this number, projected cash balance at year end, because it's not revenue, but it would be real money that would be in your bank account. Okay. So that funding from a loan or line of credit would go there. All right. So over here in the dashboard, what this is saying is Our average revenue per month is about $102,000. Average expenses is $80,000. Average profit per month is about $144,000. Let's see. Total revenue, $1,235,000. Total expenses, $962,000. Average sales per month, $325,000. Average cost per sale, $246,000. Average profit per sale, $70 per sale. Total sales projected, $3,900. Okay. Profit margin, 22%. And it looks like your profitability trend is showing upward, especially looks like as you go into your busier seasons. It looks like that's going up. So that's always really good. Then we look at your 12-month action plan. And so all these numbers, they populated over here on this side. So revenue per month for October looks like $65,000, expenses $58,000, profits $6,500. Here's where you would then work, you would figure out your strategy to hit these projections. Also, the needed resources and funding assistance and key dates and deadlines. This goes hand in hand with your cash flow projections, because to the lender, this is the numbers, but then they want to see your thought process behind how you're going to make it happen. How are you going to do $65,000 in sales? Well, it looks like we're going to have to do, 300 sales a month to make that happen. How many people do you need for that? How much space do we need for that? When are we going to hire people? And all those things are all covered inside the cash flow tool. It shows the profitability. It shows the projection. It lets the lenders know that you have enough money to pay them back. It lets investors know that, hey, look, at least there's $273,000. They may say, well, look, if we gave you 100, if we invested 100,000, could you do all this faster? So maybe it's not 273, maybe it's 500,000. Will that help? That's going to tell the investor. And to a partner, when they're trying to figure out if they want to get involved, this at least shows them it's a profitable business and there's an opportunity for growth. And maybe if they inject some of the things that they do, their resources, this could be even better. The projections help. And look, right? And one last thing, if you know that you want to retire at a certain time, or there's a certain goal you want to meet, or if you want to make sure your business has a certain amount of revenue, this helps you really figure this out. Because you can then just adjust numbers. If this is not enough, if 273,000 and profit is not enough, figure out how you're going to sell more stuff. There's a lot of green space to brainstorm and figure out what else you can sell. That's what this tool allows you to do. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're actually right at time. I want to thank Dr. Coles for your help as always. You always make everything go right. I appreciate you so much. I think this is actually our Q&A period. So I'm actually going to turn over to Eduardo and his team and see if we have any questions.